Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Hurricane Erin continues to pull away, but we still have impacts along the coast. I'll let you know when the next high tide is, when that could cause additional flooding coming up.
And coastal cleanup. Erin left flooding and other damage behind as it passed by our coast. The work happening today after the storm has moved away. Plus, oh yes, folks, Football Friday is back. Tonight, WRAL shines a light on the high school gridiron. New security measures in place for fans as they go to games in Wake County tonight. So much of content that we have to bring for you this morning here on WRAL News. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood. We do want to swing into Hurricane Erin. Yes, it's moving away from our state, but we're still kind of tracking where it's headed out in the Atlantic, and that's where we find meteorologist Amy Wilmoth.
It is moving away. It's a Category 1 hurricane now, winds at 90 miles per hour. It's far from our coast, but we still have impacts. The next thing we have to watch is the high tides later this morning. Oceanside, it's around 7 to 7:30 this morning. On the Sound side, it's around 8 to 8:30 this morning, so we could see additional flooding with that next high tide. The tides are rising right now. A live look at Beaufort. This view from the Beaufort Hotel of Taylor's Creek here. We'll be watching this as the tide rises, probably around 8 a.m. this morning in that location. Closer to home, it feels pretty good outside. 70 degrees right now in Raleigh. Back to school shopping. A lot of kids headed back to school on Monday. If you plan to do some of that today, you don't need the rain gear. Should be pretty nice. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 80s. And Chris mentioned Football Friday. Check it out. It's dry. It's comfortable. Gorgeous weather for Football Friday. I'll talk more about the weekend forecast coming up.
All right, sounds great, Amy. This morning, we are checking on conditions at the Outer Banks after Hurricane Erin passed by. We're talking about high tides leading to overwash, eroding Kill Devil Hills. And teams are checking on Highway 12 for damage from the storm. That's where we find WRAL's Sean Gallagher. He's in the Outer Banks this morning. Sean, yesterday when we saw you, it was windy. It was kind of blowing your jacket around. It's a lot quieter today. What's it look like?
Yeah, exactly that, Chris. A lot quieter. There's a little bit of a misty rain, which is actually a lot more than we saw yesterday morning, but the winds have really diminished. But the big news here is behind me. The barricades still up, but they could come down as soon as today, according to Dare County officials. But take a look at this video that was taken during the evening high tide in Buxton yesterday. You can see those waves washing and through the buildings there, really, and major pieces of debris, including entire staircases. Similar scenes are possible during this morning's high tide, which is expected to crest just after 7:15 today. NCDOT says once those waters start to drop, crews are hoping to turn their attention to clean up. They'll be looking closely for any damage that may have been left behind on the roads, especially the big one here, Highway 12.
Hopefully that pavement's not breached, and if it's not, then DOT will get the water off, get the sand off. You just saw a bunch of pumps go by. We've sent pump trucks down there to get that water off of the road so they can work, and so we're hopeful to get that stuff going in earnest.
And Governor Josh Stein will make his way to the coast today to survey the damage and also thank first responders for their work today. He's scheduled to be in Dare County around 1:30. In Nags Head, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Now, people farther north on the East Coast are also feeling Hurricane Erin's impacts. In fact, the storm sent giant waves crashing on the New Jersey coast. That state's governor declared a state of emergency. And this video shows a person kayaking on a flooded street after Erin's storm surge. The U.S. Coast Guard dealt with waves off the coast of Delaware, and the National Weather Service issued a high surf advisory, wind advisory, and coastal flood warning there through Saturday. Folks, just a reminder, you can count on WRAL to bring you updates for the storm in the tropics. You can download the WRAL weather app to use our interactive hurricane tracker, and you can stay connected to that radar and get town-by-town rain chances anytime. 2 universities, 2 shooting scares on campus yesterday. Students were sent scrambling from an outdoor orientation mass at Villanova University in Pennsylvania, and that was because of reports of a shooter. But law enforcement searched campus and determined those reports were just a cruel hoax. And then earlier in the day, leaders at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga sent an alert about a possible shooter on campus. The message told people to run, hide, and fight, and police later gave the all clear. A North Carolina mother says the online gaming platform Roblox allows predators to sexually exploit children, including her 10-year-old daughter. The mother from Guilford County says that someone used the game to gain her child's trust, pretending to be her age. She says her daughter was convinced to send inappropriate pictures of herself in exchange for the virtual currency used in the game. Now, the lawsuit says the gaming app, quote, instills an unfounded sense of safety in guardians and parents, when in reality, the design of the platform makes children easy and accessible prey for pedophiles, end quote. Roblox did respond to the lawsuit, saying in part, quote, we are deeply troubled by any incident that endangers our users, and safety is a top priority. Roblox has implemented rigorous safeguards to combat the sexual exploitation of children. Your time is 4:35 this morning. Football Friday is back. It kicks off tonight on WRAL as high school teams get their season started. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Athens Drive High School in Raleigh. Kelsey, Wake County has some new security measures in place for fans after some violence at other athletic events.
Yes, Chris, they do. The Friday night lights are turning back on here at Athens Drive High School. Wake County Schools is making sure that safety is top of mind heading into this new football season. So their clear bag policy is still in place this year. Be prepared, because even though this bag is clear, it could still be searched once you arrive at the stadium. Now, some schools have some specific rules this football season. Millbrook High does not allow tailgates in the parking lot. You also cannot re-enter their stadium if you leave. And students must bring their IDs to all Enlow High School football games. No outside food or drink will be allowed. Schools district-wide are enforcing more safety protocols. You will not be allowed to gather in certain areas like parking lots or behind bleachers. Parents, you have to pick your student up immediately after the game. You will not be allowed to wait in the parking lot. So Football Friday begins tonight at a new start time here on WRAL. You can tune in tonight at 11:15. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Raleigh.
A man accused of intentionally ramming a Raleigh police car is being held on a $250,000 bond. Elmer Bautista Candela faces more than a dozen charges, and he was taken into custody Wednesday after a 5-hour standoff on Bashford Road. Police say that he slammed into a Raleigh police car on Saturday while officers were investigating car break-ins. His next court appearance is next month. A person is dead because of a home explosion in California. You can see the aftermath video right here. Sacramento firefighters arrived at this home around yesterday morning, and they found it in flames. The sheriff's office there says an eviction notice was set to be served at that home the very same day. 2 other homes next door were damaged, and the cause of that fire, that's still being investigated. The Chatham County Sheriff's Office is warning people about a contractor scam. So deputies say this man right here has shown up at homes claiming to have leftover asphalt. He then offers to pave your driveway at a low cost. Yeah, that's a scam. Authorities say the man has been seen in the Silk Hope area. Unfortunately, no one has lost any money or property, at least not yet. But if he approaches you about this, you are encouraged to call the Sheriff's Office. The Immigration Detention Center known as Alligator Alcatraz can stay open. A federal judge made that ruling. The ruling states that no further detainees or construction is allowed, but the facility is required to remove all generators, gas, sewage, and other waste and waste receptacles within 60 days. Environmental groups and Native American tribes have protested the construction of that site. They say it threatens endangered species and the ecosystem of the Everglades wetlands. A small community near Apex could become home to a new 250 megawatt data center. And this would essentially house and manage computer systems and servers. But some neighbors plan to fight that proposal. The center would be built on 189 acres near Duke Energy's Harris nuclear plant. And that's according to information from a Fox Rothschild representative. Dozens of people who live in Jordan Point gathered last night to share their concerns. And some are worried about the increasing costs and strain on energy and potential health effects.
I've been debating the merits of which room in our house is the best room for a nursery, and now it's like no room because light and noise pollution.
But what if that doesn't work and they build here? What does that mean for you and your family?
To be honest, I think I'd have to move.
The group plans to bring their concerns to the Apex Town Council and possibly even the county. As Western North Carolina nears the 1-year mark since Tropical Storm Helene, a fire department approaches a milestone. The Fairview Fire Department's living quarters were flooded during the storm, and firefighters have been sleeping in campers during their shifts. But work is nearly done on repairs and remodeling of the station. The fire chief expects the building to be ready by the end of next month. Durham is opening a parking deck next week. The county plans to open the site on East Main Street for normal hourly parking, and you can also use it when visiting the Human Services building. Now, if you visit the county building, you will have to have your ticket validated. And starting today, roads will close in Cary to prepare for the Lazy Days Festival. Roads around Town Hall will close at noon, and they'll stay closed until Sunday night. More than 250 artists from across the country will share their crafts this weekend. Turns out 2024 was another great year for tourism in Wake County. The Greater Raleigh Convention and Visitors Bureau released a report showing record-breaking numbers. Wake County welcomed 19 million visitors last year, a record, in fact. That is a 2.7% increase over 2023. Visitor spending was up more than 5% over that same time period, but visitation and visitor spending represents the highest totals on record for Wake County. Time is 4:40. Social media addiction. North Carolina is taking on TikTok for predatory practices. The newly released information that shows the app's staff knows the risk of using it, plus CDC damage. We are getting an up-close look at the aftermath of this month's shooting there. What the future looks like for the agency's employees. And don't threaten me with a good time. Today is cooler, it is clear. I will take it on a Friday as we are giving you a live look over North Hills. Just ahead, WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth will give us a breakdown of how long these nice conditions will last.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in for Elizabeth. You're looking live at downtown Raleigh. A pretty nice morning. You can kind of see the cloud deck overhead. So we'll start with a little bit of cloud cover, but pretty comfortable. The next 3 hours, temperatures should hover near 70 degrees for your morning coffee. Pretty nice to maybe do that on the porch this morning. This afternoon, pretty nice. A mix of sun and clouds. 84 for the high in Raleigh and Durham. 86 for the high temperature in Fayetteville. And the dew point should stay pretty comfortable today in the mid to upper 60s throughout the day today. So pretty nice day overall. A nice start to the weekend. And then next week, we have a legit cold front that's going to move through and bring a fall-like feel. I'll show you wind lows could get close to the upper 50s coming up in just a bit.
We'll come back to you in just a bit, Amy. Thank you. The CDC is showing the damage caused to their campus during a shooting. We're talking about 6 buildings that were damaged in an attack on August 8th. Investigators say a man fired more than 180 rounds at the CDC's building in Atlanta. A police officer was killed, but no CDC employees were hurt. The CDC director says that the aftermath has actually shaken many people, and that's only getting worse as the agency finalizes large-scale job cuts.
It was an attack on public health in a way that we've never seen here before. And what you're seeing in this building is the impact of the bullets hitting our windows. And you've seen there's glass on the floors, and it is such a devastating event that the CDC staff had to endure.
It is just so powerful to see her standing near that cracked window there. Hundreds of CDC employees are getting permanent termination notices, and most of them worked on violence prevention, equal employment opportunity, and compliance. The layoffs are part of the Trump administration's cuts to government agencies. TikTok's employees raised concerns about the social media app's impact on users. Well, now a North Carolina judge unsealed snippets of internal calls this week. Many of them say that TikTok could harm the mental health of its users. WRAL's Carly Haynes explains how this is part of the state's lawsuit against the company.
What keeps me up at night?
Private conversations, now public.
I mean, the product in itself has baked into it compulsive use.
These are snippets of internal calls between TikTok employees. They share concerns about the platform's algorithm and say it could impact mental health.
We have these expectations and goals, and they're not necessarily congruent with good mental health.
A North Carolina judge unsealed the video this week, ruling the public should see it. The compilation is state evidence in its lawsuit against the social media app. The lawsuit was filed last year. The state alleges that TikTok knows about the harm their app inflicts on children and teens and willfully ignored these harms.
And sometimes I worry about that.
TikTok fought in court to prevent the video's release, saying it contains trade secrets and takes away context. The platform didn't respond to our request for a statement, but a company spokesperson told CNN the AG's sizzle reel is a shameful attempt to distort an open internal conversation about making the platform safer. North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson argues the video helps prove the state's case. He tells WRAL these clips clearly show that social media companies know they're designing their apps to hook our children, even at the expense of their health. TikTok has defended itself against accusations, pointing to new parental controls and default privacy settings.
That was Carly Haynes reporting, and several other states have joined North Carolina in the lawsuit. TikTok asked the court to dismiss the case entirely, but the judge denied that request. All right, we do want to go back to meteorologist Amy Wilmoth right now. Amy, a lot of people, I mean, kind of whoof this morning, the fact that Aaron is moving away, but we're still seeing some lingering effects.
That's right, and the next thing to watch is high tide, which is between 7 and 7:30 this morning along the coast. We'll watch for additional flooding perhaps, but Aaron, yes, is moving away, a Category 1 hurricane. We still have those impacts with rough surf and dangerous rip currents. So anywhere that you see the red color here, that's where we have a high rip current risk for today, likely into tomorrow. So if you're headed to the beach this weekend, just make sure to check those flags. If you see the red flag flying, do not get in the water. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary. It's a big weekend in Cary. Cary Lazy Days happens, and I'll have that forecast coming up in just a moment. Town by town, it's 70 in Cary right now, 70 in Garner, 70 in Holly Springs. We have some clouds out there this morning, but we'll see some sun this afternoon. The humidity stays fairly low. Overall, it should be a nice day. We'll stay in the 70s through about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and then highs in the low to mid 80s this afternoon. Pretty nice weather. And then lazy days in Cary, partly cloudy, a nice day on Saturday, 86, 87 on Sunday, maybe just an isolated shower or storm. We have a cold front that is headed our way, and this is a nice cold front that's really going to drop temperatures as we head into next week. It's also going to bring lower dew points, so we'll have that kind of crisp fall feel. It'll feel really nice with some cool mornings. Not really sweater weather, maybe in the mornings, but the afternoons are still going to be on the warm side. You will notice the drop in the humidity. The muggy meter will take a tumble. Now, Saturday, it's not bad in the low 60s. Sunday, we start to see it creep up a little bit. We could see a few storms on Sunday, be isolated fairly in nature in the afternoon and evening. And then by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, look at that, dew points drop down into the low 50s. That's when we're really going to start to feel comfortable. Tuesday and Wednesday, try to get outside if you can, get some steps in outside next week. It's going to be very nice. Today, pretty nice, 84, a good start to the weekend. Saturday looks good, 84, maybe a few storms on Sunday, 86 for the high. Monday, back to school for lots of kids, 87 for the high temperature, nice weather, and then here comes that cold front, highs in the low 80s for a good part of next week.
Ooh, cold front. Love to see that. Thank you, Amy. Protecting the turtles, the threat that storm surge could have on their nest and eggs. Plus, releasing the demos. Some never before heard Beatles music will be shared, and we're talking about soon. How you can get a first listen just ahead. Getting a look outside at Fenton and Cary this morning. Folks, I tell you, if you're going to step outside a little bit later to get that morning walk in, not that bad. We got that cool down that's coming. Amy Wilmoth will talk about that a little bit more here on WRAL. So humans aren't the only ones feeling the effects of Hurricane Aaron. Sea turtle nests are at risk of being damaged or even washed out by the high tides. Emerald Isle Sea Turtle Patrol says this year started strong for the 23 nests along the coast, but Aaron could threaten their progress. The program coordinator says all they can do right now is wait and see if the damage was enough to keep nests from hatching.
A lot of our nests, unfortunately, yesterday went underwater or severely washed over. We do lose a lot of nests by high tide events.
Teams had to remove plastic that marks the nest so that the high tide wouldn't drag it into the ocean. Now's your chance to weigh in on the coolest things made in our state. The North Carolina Chamber shared 102 products in the running for the honor of coolest thing. Some contenders include Cheer Wine and Texas Pete Hot Sauce. The first round of voting ends August 28th, and the winner is announced in October. From music honors to the big screen, here's a look at your Hollywood Minute with David Daniel.
Beatles fans have a lot to look forward to. A reissued version of the band's anthology retrospective project will be released this fall with all new content. A music box set will include previously unreleased demos, and the documentary will be put out as a series on Disney Plus with an additional episode.
What do you want from me, brother? What do you want?
Daniel Day-Lewis returns to the big screen. This is your first look at Anemone, which marks the actor's first film since 2017's Phantom Thread. Day-Lewis wrote the script with his son, Ronan, who directs. Anemone opens in theaters October 3rd.
I'm trying to make it a party to end all parties.
Mariah Carey will be celebrating at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. The singer has been chosen as the latest recipient of the coveted Video Vanguard Award. Carey will also perform at the ceremony in New York on September 7th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
This next video, it warms my heart. A flash mob of senior citizens. This happened at a farmer's market near Kansas City. We're talking about a dozen 80-year-olds dancing to Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. The spontaneous dance is just so much fun for fitness, and the senior citizens are from a memory care facility in that area. So this music has proven to have some positive effects on memory, so it's great to see them getting up, moving and grooving. The time is 4:56. It's coastal destruction. We are seeing the damage left behind by Hurricane Erin, the erosion that is shrinking communities on the Outer Banks. Plus, it is Football Friday. Tonight, high school game coverage comes back to WRAL, which is why we are going to take you out to the field with a look at how Wake County is preparing to welcome fans. And school accountability. The Association of Educators is pushing for classroom improvements, their efforts to address the backlog of HVAC maintenance.